Welcome to Live DAF, your online DAF Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's DAF. Bava Metzia DAF Lamed Vav. We are holding on the bottom of Lamed Hey and Beis, and back to the story in the Mishnah where this fellow rented a cow from his friend and then loaned it to his friend. So basically Shimon rented Reuven's cow and then Shimon loaned it to Levi. Was he allowed to do it? We'll see later. But in any case, that's what happened. And Rabbi Yirmiyah will now come and present us with an interesting formula. Now, Rabbi Yirmiyah is known throughout Shas for his technical approach to things. He would present many times very nitty-gritty questions. And here Rabbi Yirmiyah will present for us an intricate equation. Very interesting formula pertaining to the story of the shoyel, the renter, and the soicher, the renter, and the shoyel, the borrower. Amar B'Yirmiyah, pa'amim sheshneim b'chatas. Now, according to the story in our Mishnah, the animal actually died naturally, meisa kedarka, in the hands of the shoyel. Okay, now the halach is that a soicher is exempt from accidents, from oines that might happen to the item that he rented. Right? But he's chayav if it gets stolen or lost. Whereas a borrower, a shoyel, is even more responsible. He has a higher level of obligation, a higher level of responsibility towards the item. He's chayav even for accidents that may occur. There's one exception called Mesa Machmas Malacha. Suppose the animal that he borrowed just died, as it was working, as it was doing its work. Now he can say, look, why did I borrow it if not to do work? So in that case, he's patur. Okay, so that's the first intro. The second point to know is that when one makes a shavua, an oath, which turns out to be false, what is the outcome? What are his liabilities? So it depends. If it's merely a shvuas, sheker, false oath, which does not really purport to save him any money, he wasn't trying to benefit financially, he just misrepresented a fact, then he's chayve karban chatos, to atone for it. But if in fact his motive was to save money, he used the shvua to confirm his denial versus his friend's claim. So he used it to exonerate himself financially. Turns out to be false. It heightens his liabilities. Chayiv and asham, different type of carbon. Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah, back to the story of the renter who transferred it to the borrower, and the animal purportedly died, right? Now let's say they both swear. The soicher and the shoyel swear. And turns out that it was less than honest. We can have many different varying results, depending on the circumstance. At times, both individuals will be liable to a karban chatos if, in fact, they swore falsely, but it was not a monetary related, they weren't trying to save money. At times, they can both be liable to a karban asham if, in fact, the shvua was used at an attempt to exonerate themselves financially. Okay, so that's the second possibility. In the third case, the soicher is chayv chatas, but the shoyel and asham. The fourth case is in the reverse. Okay, so how does this play out? So firstly, kfiras mam and asham, right, as we just explained, if the shvua pertained to monetary denials, then he has to bring an asham. Bitis v'sayim chatos, but it was merely a shvua which falsified facts, without any attempt to use that argument to save money, meaning the falsification of facts was not used to save himself money, then it was merely a shvuas sheker, right? So you bring a chatas. Okay, so knowing that, let's return to all four cases. How do we have that both are chayv chatas? The animal died of natural causes in the hands of the shoyel, right? And both individuals, the seicher and the shoyel, remember the seicher took the animal from the owner, from Reuben, and Shimon the seicher handed it over to Levi, the borrower, and in this case it happened to have died naturally. And they both misrepresented the story. Oh, there was a big accident, a big robbery. What could we do? And they both swore falsely that in fact that happened. So what's the end result? Seicher, when it comes to Shimon the renter, the benkech mifta potter, whether he would have admitted to the fact that it died naturally, whether he came across with came forward with this claim that it was robbed, either way it's an einus. Either way he's potter. So all he really did was just misrepresent facts without any attempt to use those facts, use that falsification to save himself money. So it was merely a plain shvuas sheker. What happens? B'chatas. It brings a korban b'chatas. Okay, so whether he would have presented the actual facts or misrepresented the actual facts, the result is all the same. He's pater, so there's no gain here. It's just a plain chatas. But a shoyel, and likewise the fellow who loaned the animal, either way he's chayiv. The benkech chayuvim chayiv. Whether he tells us it died naturally, he's chayiv. Whether he tells us it was stolen by robbers, he's chayiv. So once again, his shvua wasn't going to bring him any gain, b'chatas. He brings the korban b'chatas. In the next case, we have pamish shneim ba'asham. The seicher and the shoyel are chayiv and asham. How? When they were trying to use the shvuas sheker to save themselves money. What happened? What really happened was that it was stolen. In which case, the seicher is chayiv. The shoyel would be chayiv, right? And they both pretended that it died due to just while it was working. Right? So in this situation, the tarvayu kokafrim amayna, they're both trying to save themselves money to machayvi because they would be chayiv because of the robbery. Vikapatri nafshayu, and they're trying to use this false claim to exempt themselves. So they're both chayiv and asham. Case number 3, seicher b'chatas v'shoyel b'asham. Kigoyin, for instance, shmeisa kedarka, died naturally. V'amr meis machs malacha, they pretend that it died during its work. So the seicher, the benkech mifta potter, either way the seicher is potter, because it's an accident, he's potter. So in this case, he's chayiv b'chatas because of the falsifications of his fact. He has to bring a chatas. But the shoyel, the mechayiv meisa kedarka, on the other hand, the shoyel would be chayiv if he would have admitted that it died naturally. But he's attempting to exempt himself by claiming that it died machmas malacha. V'kapater nafshi b'meis machmas malacha. So here, it's more severe ba'asham. And finally, seicher ba'asham b'shoyel b'chatas. How's that? In reality, it was stolen. V'amar meisa kedarka. They both claim that it died naturally. Seicher the mechayiv b'gnei v'aveda. So when it comes to this seicher, if he would have admitted that it was stolen or lost, he would be chayiv. Is attempting to exempt himself by claiming and swearing that it died naturally. So he has to bring it out, ba'asham. But on the other hand, the shoyel wasn't gaining much. Whether he would admit that it was stolen or that it died naturally, he would be chayiv. So his shvuah was not meant to save him money, b'chatas. Ma'ika mashma, what's the point of this whole formula? We have a Mishnah in Mesechas Shvuos that teaches us the very basic fact that a shvuah, which is meant to exempt you money, triggers an asham, right? But otherwise, just a chatas. So what's the point of a Yirmiyah? Lafukim with Rabbi Ami. He's coming to dispute Rabbi Ami's halach. The Amor tells us, Kol shvuah shadayan mashbim oisa. Any shvuah which was imposed by the bezdin, such as these shvuahs that we discussed, Ein chayav na'lam mishum shvus bitui. So even if he falsified facts in a non-exonerating mode, right? He's just falsifying a fact, which doesn't say him anything, but it's a shvua sheker. Since it wasn't a self-initiated shvua, says Rav Ami, it's not considered a shvuas bitui, just a personal expression. There's no chatas there. We learn kisishava means me'atzma, a personally initiated shvua, not a bezdin imposed shvua. Kamash malon the Rav Ami comes to Riyami and disputes that. No. Any type of shvua which falsifies facts constitutes a shvuas bitui and is chayv chatas. Itma, we move on to another machlekes. Shemer shemas l'shemer. Shimon was entrusted with an item by Reuven, the owner, decided to take the liberty and entrust Levi, his friend, with that item, without the owner's permission. Rav Amar Pater, Rabbi Yehuda Amar Chayev. Rav says, look, if something goes wrong under Levi's care, something which, if it would have happened by Shimon, he would be Pater, so Shimon is Pater now as well. Rabbi Yehuda Amar Chayev, no. No matter what happens under Levi's care, even Nines, Shimon is chayiv. Why? Amar Abaye. According to Rav's opinion that he's Pater, let me buy it. It goes without saying. If by handing it to Levi, he increased the level of security. For instance, if Shimon was merely a shemer chinam, doing it for free, right, which obligates him to a more basic level of shmirah, and he handed it to Levi for pay, shemasa l'shem asachar, the iluye ali l'shmirase, because in this case, actually, he benefited the owner because he upgraded the standards, because a shemer sachar has more obligations than a shemer chinam. He's more responsible. He's taking more care to secure the item. Still, we say you had no business doing that, you're chayiv. Ela afilu shemer sachar, and according to Rava, it goes without saying that over here Shimon is Pater. But even if the level was downgraded due to this transfer to Levi, even if Shimon was a Shemer Sachar, getting paid with a higher level of Shmirah, Shemas l'Shemachin who handed it to Levi for nothing, the Grui Gar l'Shmirase, in which case he downgraded the level of security, he's still Pater. You know why? My timer. Damash l'ben das. Shimon says, look, I gave it to a responsible person. That's one side of the coin. On the other hand, well, the time of the Rabbi Yehuda, on Rabbi Yehuda''s point of view, that Shemer Shemas L'Shemer is Chayiv, you should know, Lo Miboye goes without saying. If he lowered the Shemir, Shemer Sachar Shemas L'Shemer Chinam, a paid watcher, gave it to an unpaid watcher, the Grui Gar L'Shmirase, which in fact downgraded the level of Shmirah, of course he's Chayiv. Ela Afilu, but even if he upgraded the level of security, it enhanced the shmirah. Chayiv, he's still chayiv. You know why? The Amar Lei, because the owner can tell him, look, you had no business doing that. I'm not interested in having my item sitting by Levi. I don't trust him. Amar Chisda. Had the Rav's opinion that Shemer Shemas L'Shem is Pater, you should know, Lav Beferish Itma. It wasn't stated explicitly in the name of Rav. El Machlolo. Rather, it was learned by inference from a story involving Rav, which led us to this conclusion that Rav holds he's Pater. What was the story? And in fact, because it was derived from a story, it isn't necessarily so, says Rav Chisda, because perhaps the story involved a unique set of circumstances which triggered this halacha, which isn't present everywhere. Let's see. Danu Ginoi. We had a group of landscapers, gardeners. Every day they would hand over their morayu, their tools, their shovels, Gaba Yisafta, by this older woman for safekeeping. Okay, at the end of the day's work, they went the tools. One day, instead of giving it to the woman, they had one of the members of the team, look after the tools. Shama Kalabeilu, suddenly hears this wedding going on, the music. Nafak, he went out to the wedding. What about the tools? So he quickly took the tools and he gave it to the older woman. Right? By the time he left and came back, Ignu Marayu, all the tools were stolen. Also, the Rabbis, he came to Rabbi Patra, he says, you're Patra. Man the Chazan. Now the innocent observer, the unlearned observer figured, okay, here we go. Sabra Bishum Shemesh Masal Shemesh Patra. Evidently Rab holds, a Shemer hands it to another Shemesh Patra. But it's incorrect, says Rav Chisda. No, it's an incorrect conclusion. Wallahi, Shani Hasim, the deal was very different. You know why? Because they trusted this lady. Every day they used her. The Nami, every day. Inu Gufayu, Gaba, Dayisafta. Every day, this whole team used to use this Safta to watch their items. Hamam they would place their items under her care. She was their standard Shaimer. Of course they trust her. And of course he had a right to hand the stuff over to her. But who says, in a typical situation where you just give it to a random person, who says you're Pata? Bottom line, we have halacha shemesh maslo shemesh according to Rabbi Potter, according to Rabbi Yehuda Kessler. Here come two kashas on Rabbi Yehuda. Yosef Rabbi Ami. Rabbi was sitting and coming Loshmaiti was saying over the halacha of Rabbi Yehuda. Eisvi Rabbi Mamlu Rabbi Ami. Have a kasha from our Mishnah. We see shemesh maslo shemesh Potter. Right? We have the renter with the borrower. Right? Hasaycha par mechaver. Shimon rented a parah from Reuben. V'shil lachar he loaned it to Levi. We assume without permission. Umeisa Kedarka died. Yishav Asaycha Shemeisa Kedarka. So 1, 2, 3, the Seicher verifies that it died, right? Makes a shvur, Bashal Mishal Masaycha, and then he actually makes money on it because the borrower is responsible. He pays the Seicher, like we learned in the Mishnah. Okay. What happened to the halach of Shemesh Masal Sheimer? If, in fact, Rabbi Yehuda's opinion is true, that you're chayiv when you hand it to another person, lay malay, so the owner can tell Shimon, look, I was not interested in this transfer. Don't walk away from me. Right? Amalei. So Rabbi Ami responded, was speaking, this mission is speaking about a case that he had permission. He was authorized to do this transfer. The owner allowed him to lend it. Okay, that's the case. So the owner technically is the lender. So let him go directly to Levi and claim back his animal. Why does the Mishnah instruct Levi to pay Shimon? Shimon is not a player. Reuben is the one who loaned it to Shimon. He authorized Shimon to loan it to Levi. He didn't really get involved. He just allowed Shimon. He says, if you want, do what you want. I'm not really involved. I'm not really officially the one that's lending the animal to Levi. You're the one doing it. So you deal with Levi. So in fact, if it turns out the Levi has to pay, he'll pay Shimon, not Reuven. Here comes another kasha on Rabbi Yechanan. If one is mafkid money with his friend, the fellow wraps it up and slings it behind his shoulder, which is not the most responsible way to watch money. Or Masr Lebnei B'tek Tanim, he hands it over to his youngsters. And he didn't lock his door properly, and they walked out with the money, and it got lost. So this fellow is chayiv. Why? Because he did not employ basic shmira standards. He didn't watch it properly because he gave it to his young kids. Let's make a deal. That's only because he gave it to his youngsters. But let's say he gave it to his adult children to watch. Evidently, that's okay. Why? He was entrusted with the money, not them. The owner can say, look, I'm not interested in having my money sitting by your kid. And anything that happens, I can blame on you. Amar Rava, no, here it's different. It's one family called a mafkid. When a person deposits anything with a family, adas, ishto, yibon of a mafkid, the understanding is that he'll give it to his wife and kids to watch. If they're adults and responsible. So yeah, if he gives it to a stranger, you're right, but it's understood when you amrafkid something with a person, you're going to trust him and his family. Amr Nadai, so the Chachamim in Arda prove this point. They cannot. Look closely at the Mishnah. The Tani, it says like this: if he handed it to his underage boys or girls, he's chayiv. Let's make a deal. But otherwise, if they're adults, he's pater. That's only because they're his kids. It's one family. Apparently, if you gave it to strangers, age is not a factor. Age is irrelevant. He's chayiv. He's responsible. Lo yishnak doilim, lo yishnak tanim is chayiv. How do I know that? Because of this concept would apply even to strangers. Why does the Brisa dwell on family? Listen, tanim stama. Shramino. I should just say, look, he gave it to youngsters. Who cares if it's his kids? Apparently, family makes a difference. Youngsters in his family are not okay, but older kids are, because it's the same family. But to a stranger, it wouldn't be an excuse. It wouldn't be mutter. Amar Rava. What's the conclusion? Hilchasa. Shema shemasal shema chayiv. Like Rabbi Yehuda. It goes without saying. Shema shemasal shemar. Shema sacha shemasal shema chinam. That if a paid watchman hands it to an unpaid watchman, which downgrades the level, degrui gar l'shmirasai, which affects the level, then he's chayiv. But even if he upgraded the level of shmira, shema chinam shemasal shema sacha chayiv. Now, interestingly, earlier Abaye gave us a reason. Aim ritzoni, right? I'm not interested in having my pekadon sitting by the stranger, and anything that happens, I'm blaming on you. Rava provides another reason. And Taisa says there'll be a lot of differences between these reasons. My time is, so what's wrong? Because the owner can tell the fellow, look, I trust you, I don't trust him. I'll never know what happened. I know he's claiming that it was I trust you when you swear to verify the story. I don't believe the other fellow. To me, he's not trustworthy. Therefore, I have a full right to claim full reimbursement, regardless of what happens. Taisa says, well, let's say, there is no shvuah at play at all. Let's say we have Eidim to testify as to what happened. So in this case, Rava's rationale wouldn't apply, whereas Abaye's rationale would. I never asked you to hand it to him. I don't know. I don't care what happened. I blame it on you. Okay. Here comes a new discussion. Itmar. Pasha ba v'yatzas la'agan. Mesa kedarka. So, straightforward case. Shimon it was watching, was caring for Ruvain's cow. He was negligent. He left the door open. V'yatzas la'agan. The animal roamed out to the swamp, to the wilderness. But we have lots of interesting things going on. We have Ganavim roaming there, we have bandits, we have thieves, we have wild animals who could attack it. But it turns out, lucky him, the animal was not approached by any of these forces. Rather, it died naturally. It died of natural causes. Is the Shemin responsible or not? We have Machlekes once again. Abaye Mishmei the Rabba Amar Chayiv. Abaye quotes Rabba that is Chayiv. Rabba Mishmei the Rabba Amar Pater. Rabba quotes Rabba that is Pater. Explains the Gemara. Abaye Mishmei the Rabba Amar Chayiv. Abaye maintains that is Chayiv. Not only that, called Dayana, Deloy Doin Kaidina, any Jewish judge that doesn't follow this ruling, Lam Dayano, he's not a reputable judge. You got to know this halacha. Why? It goes without saying that according to the opinion that holds, this is a machlekes later on, DAF and Beis, regarding safeguarding money. Let's say a person was negligent. So the story started with a pshia, but it turns out, lucky him, it was lost by accident. An accident which is unattributed to my negligence, right? I was negligent, but it turns out my negligence was not the cause of the accident. Am I chayiv or not? So that's a discussion later on. So Abaye says like this, pertaining to our cow that roamed into the swamp and died naturally, it goes without saying, according to the opinion that holds over there with the money, that if it started with a negligence, with a pshia, with a carelessness, but developed into an oinus, and that was the cause of loss, I'm still chayiv. So certainly in this case, with the animal, with the cow, I was negligent, so irrespective of what happened later, the chayiv, I'm chayiv as well. But even according to the shita, that holds that even though it was triggered by negligence, it was initiated by carelessness, but if the end result was an accident, I'm pater. Still here it's different. Here by the animal that died, I'm chayiv. You know why? Because we can attribute the end result to your negligence. My time at Amrin Leib, because we could say, Havla, the air, the humidity, the agma out in the swamp, Katla, contributed to the animals dying. So yeah, it's not unrelated, it is related. It is closely linked to what you did. That's Abaye's opinion. Rava takes a 360. A 180, I should say. Exactly the opposite. Rava Mishmei de Rabba Amar Pata. No. In the case of the animal that was left to roam and die, you're Pata. Kol Dayana D'loi Dain Kaik Dino Lav Dainu. A Dain that doesn't follow this din is not a reputable judge. And he explains, Loi Miboye, L'Madama, T'chilasa, Ipshia, V'Seifa V'Eines Pater. So he starts from the other side of the spectrum. It goes without saying that if you hold that when an event was initiated, was triggered by an act of carelessness and negligence, but it turns out, right, it developed into an oinus, on Pater. So certainly in this case, which is a similar case, it was a pshia, but it developed into an oinus, the Pater on Pater as well. Listen to this, even if you hold that tchilas or pshia, v'seifa b'oinus is chay, but here it's different. Hachap by the animal that died naturally, it's Pater. You know why? My time, you know why? I'm reading because we say like this. Why did he die of natural causes? He met up with the Malach HaMavis. Guess what? The Malach HaMavis is not limited in space and time. He encountered the Malach HaMavis out in the swamp. For the same money, the Malach HaMavis could have reached him here in my house. So my allowing him to roam did not contribute to his death. Damrina Malach HaMavis, Mali Hacha, Mali Hasam, what difference is it if it's here or there? So I'm Pater. Continues the Gemara, Omoidi Abaye. Abaye would agree, the Hadra, the Beimor, Omesa, the Pater, that of course, if the animal was returned from the swamp and brought back home to the owner, and it died over there, of course, the Pater. My time out. You know why? The Hadra, because it was returned, and now we can't attribute his death to the humidity. The Havla, the Agmakat, we can't say the Hevel killed him. Okay? So he came back to the Shemer's house, whatever. Then there's no humidity, there's no, cause of death. It's just plain Malach HaMavis. On the other hand, Rava agrees. Kalecha de Ignava, Ganav. Let's say the animal roamed out of my barn due to my carelessness, right? It ended up in the wilderness, where it was picked up by a Ganav. Okay, ready? A Ganav got it. So at that point, the owner sort of lost his animal. Right? Stolen. And then it died of natural causes in the hands of the Ganav. Am I the Shomer who was careless and triggered this whole chain of events? Am I Chayiv? Yeah. The Chayiv. You know why? Even though it died of natural causes, even though earlier we said, well, natural causes could happen anywhere, anytime, here it's different. Because as soon as the Ganav picked it up from the street, it's written off as a loss. And I caused that loss. I allowed the animal to roam out. My time with the Ishavka Malach HaMavis. Because let's say the Malach HaMavis would have not bothered with the animal. Where would the animal be? Meaning before the Malach HaMavis got to it, before it died, the Ganava, Havakayim was sitting in the Ganav's house. It's lost. It's gone. It's written off as a loss. And who's responsible? I am. Amalei Abai l'Rabba. So Abai asked Rabbi, "L'didochta Amos, Malach HaMavis, Malihacha Malihasam." You present this argument. Malach HaMavis is here, is there. It's all the same thing. I have a kash on you. If you recall, Rabbi Yehuda told us, "Shomer shemas l'shomer." Right in the previous machlekes, one shomer transfers to another shomer. Rabbi Yehuda says he's always chayv. He's always responsible. We blame everything on the first shomer. I made a kasha. Rabbi Mamal asked Rabbi, hold it. The Mishnah, right? Shimon rented Reuven's cow and loaned it to Levi. Right? Why isn't he responsible? Shemer shemas l'shemer. And the answer was, well, we're speaking that the owner gave him permission, right? Hi, the Oisri, Rabbi Mamal Rabbi Ami, he asked him a kasha from the Mishnah, Vishani Leni answered him that it was authorized. The owner authorized this transfer. Okay, why do we need that whole back and forth? According to you, Rava, that the Malach HaMavis is far-reaching, not hindered by time and space. Malach HaMavis. So according to you, there could have been a simple answer to the question. The question was, how could the Seicher be Potter? Look what he did. He allowed the Sheil to take it over. Well, the answer could be, look, We know what happened. It died naturally. Oh, an animal that dies of natural causes is not attributed to anybody. It's attributed to the Malach HaMavis. He could have answered, Malach HaMavis, Malach HaMaliasim. Who cares where he died? He would have died by the Seicher. So we can't blame it on the Seicher. So according to your Svara, what was the whole problem from the Mishnah? What was the whole shayla? Amalei, he says, you know what? Rava responds, you're right. Actually, you're right. Listen to this chap. If you remember, there were two ways to explain Rabbi Yechonen's halacha. Shomer shemaslo shomer chayiv, right? We have Abaye's approach, because he says, I'm not interested in having my item sitting by the other guy, and anything that happens is your problem. Right? So the kasha on that was, what do you mean? So how could the Seicher get away with lending to the Shayel? So the answer was, okay, it was authorized. Right? That was Abaye's, it was based on Abaye's explanation of Rabbi Yehuda. But according to Rava's explanation, which was the last piece over here, right? About 10, 12 lines off the bottom, Rava said it was about trustworthiness. It was about integrity. I don't trust him, I trust you, not him. Right? So, says Rava, look, according to my explanation, there was never a kasha from the mission to begin with on Rabbi Yehuda. Why? Amalei, so Rava says like this. According to your explanation, that the reason why a shomer is because the owner is uninterested in having this item being transferred, and I blame any problem on you. So that triggered the kasha from the Mishnah, which required the teretz. So that explains why we asked from the Mishnah. However, but according to my explanation, I already explained, it's a bit different. It's because of integrity. The owner can claim to the first shomer, I trusted you and not him. I have no idea what happened. I trust you, but not him. So according to this way of explaining, there will be no basis for any kasha from the Mishnah. You know why? What happened in the Mishnah? The Seicher took the cow and loaned it to the Shayel. And we know that it died because the Seicher himself offered that information with a shvuah to the owner. So now the owner can't turn around and say, well, I don't trust the other guy. You trust the Seicher? Okay, but he himself is claiming. He himself is presenting the facts. So here, the owner has no excuse. So the truth is the kasha would never have been a kasha at all, according to my pshat. So basically, Rava preempted the whole problem. Because why do we have to answer that terrorist to the yeah, according to your approach, the whole thing was kasha and the terrorist. Well, to me, the kasha never began. Okay, so it's unrelated to the whole discussion with Malach HaMavis, right? Fine. Ask the Gemara, Masar Rab Ur Machama. Here comes a kasha on Abaye. Okay, back to our story with the Pshia, which caused the animal to go out to the Agam, where it died naturally. Abaye says a chayv. Masar from Machama, I have a kasha from a Mishnah. Hel al Rashi Tzuki Benafla. Person is caring for an animal, and he took it on a risky walk. Went up to the top of these cliffs. V'nafla, and the animal dropped off the cliff and died. That's not an accident. He's chayiv. Why did you take it up to the cliff? But let's say it died of natural causes up on the cliff. So he was negligent in bringing it up there, but if it died naturally, he's potter. Am I why? According to Abaye, you can attribute any cause to the death and blame it on the fellow. You can say the lack of oxygen up on the mountain killed the animal. Or you can say the effort required to climb up there, that exhausted the animal, killed it. So why is he potter? My skin says the Gemara was speaking Shehela. He took the animal up to a good place, Lamira, Shamin V'Tov, to a place of good, lush pasture grounds where people, the shepherds typically take up the animals, so it's not considered an act of negligence. If that's the case, Naflanami. So, even if the animal dropped down and died, he should be potter. Fell off the cliff, he should be potter. Right? He didn't do anything unusual. Because we're speaking that he could have restrained the animal, he could have held it from falling, he didn't do that. If that's the case, he's totally at fault. So what's about the first part of the Mishnah? Also, the Rosh Tzukim v'Nafla. The animal ran up to the top of the cliff and it fell down. It's an accident. What do you mean? He should have restrained the animal from falling. Leitzricha must be speaking shetakfasiv also takfasiv yard. We're speaking about a case where the animal forced its way up and forced its way down and dropped dead. Basically, he couldn't control it and therefore he's not at fault. Bottom line, we learned about Shvuas Sheker, Shvuas Shav. At times it triggers a Chatas, at times it Asham, depending on whether it was meant to save him money. Shemesh Masal Shemer, Rav says Pater, Rabbi Yechanan says Chayiv. We have two ways to explain Rabbi Yechanan, Abai and Rava. And we have Pasha Bav Yatzal La'agam, Abai says Chayiv, Rava says Pater. We had a Kasha and we just answered it. All the best to you, Hatzlacha Rava.